Hello students, diabetes. This word is very familiar to you all. People with diabetes have high glucose levels in their blood. Why is it so? It's because of the deficiency of secretion of insulin by the pancreas. And these people have to take medicines either in the form of tablets or injections. And you also have heard about the people suffering from thyroid issues, excessive thyroxine or deficiency, that is also related to the hormones. So these hormones are secreted by specific glands. So today we are going to learn about the hormonal system, or it's also called as the endocrine system of our body. Clear? Okay. So what do you mean by a gland? A gland is an organ which secretes substances. You cannot tell tongue is an organ. You cannot tell, gland. You cannot say hand is a gland. See, gland is an organ which secretes substances. To make it more clear, just see this picture. I have shown two glands here. Okay. One is the liver. It's called a gland because it secretes, what does it secrete? Bile. So it secretes bile which enters into the small intestine. Here you can see I have shown you another gland which is pituitary gland, which is in the brain. It secretes hormones. So this is a gland which is secreting digestive juices into the small intestine. But if you observe here, the bile juice gets stored in the gallbladder, and through a duct it is entering into the small intestine. There's a duct you can see, and the target region is very near. So whatever secretions are made by the liver is going to the target region, which is very near to it, and so it has a duct. So such a gland is called as an exocrine gland. But if you see the gland here, which is inside the brain, it's called the pituitary gland. It is secreting a growth hormone, and if you notice, its target region is very far. It cannot afford to have a duct like that so far. So it secretes its hormones directly into the blood. So such glands are called endocrine glands. So what are the two types of glands in our body? What are glands? They secrete substances, usually hormones or enzymes. And enzymes and hormones both are made up of proteins. Okay. Now the glands are classified into exocrine and endocrine glands. Exocrine gland, we just saw the example was liver. So what is its characteristic? It has duct through which the secretions reach the target site. So the main function of it is it secretes substances to the target region which is near to it. For example, liver. Second is the endocrine gland. It is called a ductless gland. This was a ducted gland. It's a ductless gland. Why it is a ductless gland? Because it is secreting the substances directly into the blood. Why? Because the target site is far. So if you are asked what is an endocrine gland, you would write it is a ductless gland whose secretions are poured directly into the blood. What are the secretions called as? Hormones. Okay. And the third point, its target site is very far. So include these 3 points and you can define what is an endocrine gland. So today's our topic is we are going to study about the different endocrine glands in our body. Clear? So what are endocrine glands? Endocrine glands secrete chemicals called hormones. These hormones are basically made up of proteins. Okay. They are ductless glands and they pour the secretions directly into the blood. The target region is very far from the gland, and the hormones secreted are in very small amounts. And if the hormone secretion becomes beyond a certain limit, excessive secretion, or if it is below the certain limit, if it is deficiency, both can lead to abnormalities, which we discussed just in the starting. Insulin production is less, it will lead to diabetes. So this is the last point. Under secretion or over secretion of hormones lead to abnormalities. You can get this for exam. Give the main features of endocrine glands. They are ductless glands which secrete chemicals called hormones, which are poured directly into the blood. Target region is very far. That is the reason why it is ductless. Okay. Then they are secreted usually in small amounts, and under secretion or over secretion can create problem. This is the first thing you will have to remember. Okay. Coming to the next slide. what are hormones? If they ask you what are hormones, hormones are proteins which are secreted by endocrine glands. So you can see here, this is an endocrine gland. An endocrine gland is just a group of cells which are secreting substance. You can see this green colored shown here. It is hormones, okay, and this is an endocrine gland, and it is secreting those hormones through the blood. It is going to the target region. So what are hormones? If a question comes, you will have to write. It is secreted by endocrine glands directly into the blood. It travels through the blood to the target site, which is far off, and control their functioning. An example, insulin. It is secreted by the pancreas, and its target region is usually liver, fat and muscle tissues. So the target region are various parts of the body. You cannot afford to have touch to all those parts. So the secretion of the pancreas, that is insulin hormone, it reaches these through the blood. Okay. Okay. Now let us see which are the list of endocrine glands in our body. The first one is a pituitary gland. We have learned in the topic nervous system. Where was the pituitary situated? It was situated just below the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus was a part of central nervous system. So pituitary gland is secreted just below the hypothalamus, and I told you that the pituitary will start functioning if it gets signals from the hypothalamus. You can see how the nervous system and the endocrine system are coordinating. So how do they coordinate? It's because the hypothalamus gives electrical signals to the pituitary gland, and so the pituitary gland will start functioning. Okay. The second gland is thyroid gland. It is situated in the neck region. Thyroid is also having a pair of parathyroids below it. It's not there for you to learn. Then you have adrenal gland, which is just above the kidney. Both the kidneys, above it you have the adrenal gland. You have the pancreas. Then you have the ovaries in the case of females and testes in the case of males. So 1, 2, these three all are common. Ovaries and testes are different in males and females. So these are the list of endocrine glands in our body. Now we shall learn one by one. Okay. First is the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is called as a master gland. You know, it is a leader of all the glands. It is controlling all the other glands of the body. See, this is the pituitary here. Since it is a leader, it is situated in the brain, and it will control all other glands, just like a remote control. Signal it will give to all these, and then only they will do its function. So let us see what is the pituitary gland doing. The first thing is it secretes a growth hormone. From the word you can understand growth. So as soon as a child is born, it starts growing. Every month you can see it is growing in weight, it is growing in length, isn't it? So that is because of the cell division. Now that cell division will take place only if growth hormone is present in the child. So growth hormone is very important part of the living organism, human beings. Okay. And along, why is it called as a master gland? As I told you, it also controls other glands. How does it control other glands? Because, see this pituitary gland, it is secreting so many other hormones. I told you it controls other glands just like a remote control. In what form? It is sending in the form of other hormones. See the number of hormones secreted by the pituitary. But for your syllabus, you have to learn only about the growth hormone. And you have to say that it also secretes many other hormones which is controlling the other endocrine glands. Can you see this is TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, which will stimulate the thyroid. And thyroid is making thyroxine. So thyroid will make thyroxine only if it gets a message from pituitary in the form of thyroid stimulating hormone. Similarly, this is ACTH, that is from the pituitary. ACTH will go and stimulate the adrenal gland. Adrenal corticotropic hormone. Okay. So when this goes to the adrenal gland, then only adrenal gland will start secreting its hormone called adrenaline. Okay. Now this is FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These hormones are released at the age of puberty. You know, ovaries and testes will start functioning only at the age of puberty. Till that it is not going to secrete its hormones. That's why you can see that sudden growth changes in the child, in a teenager. So FSH and LH, these hormones will stimulate the testes to produce testosterone and ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone. And then you have the other prolactin hormone for the production of milk, oxytocin, ADH. ADH is going and stimulating the kidneys. We have learned about the tubular reabsorption. That is because of the antidiuretic hormone. Okay, so you can see this pituitary gland is called a master gland because it secretes growth hormones, very important, but so many other hormones to control the other endocrine glands of the body. So pituitary gland is called as a master gland. This is one of the questions, very important questions of this part. Okay. As I told you, hormones are secreted in less amount, but it is having a specific value. If the secretion goes beyond a certain limit, it is considered as abnormality. If the growth hormone is secreted in excess, it will lead to gigantism. Clear? And if the growth hormone is secreted in deficient value, or if it is secreted in less amounts, then it will lead to dwarfism. You have seen dwarfs and all in the circuses because of the deficiency of growth hormone. Clear? So this is a normal height of the person. These both are abnormalities. So gigantism and dwarfism are the defects if the growth hormone is not secreted in sufficient values. Okay. Second one is the thyroid hormone. The thyroid is secreted in the neck region. You can see a pair of thyroid glands here near the neck region, and it produces the hormone called as thyroxine. You know, thyroxine is actually helping in the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Whatever food you are eating, it's getting converted into glucose, amino acids, fatty acids and glycerol. We have learned in the lesson nutrition. So these glucose, amino acids, fatty acid and glycerol, they have to be utilized in the cells properly for proper metabolic activities. If they are not used, they may be used too much, or if they are not used at all, it will create a imbalance in our body. So it is this thyroxine hormone which is controlling the metabolism of all these nutrients. If this hormone is excessively secreted, it causes abnormality. It's called as hyperthyroidism. And if thyroxine is secreted in less amounts, hypothyroidism. You might have heard about people suffering from thyroid issues. Clear? So it's very important. People may having thyroid issues, they may become too fat very fast. Very fast they will become fat, or they may become very thin. So that is because of too much secretion or deficient secretion. So you have to learn only the name of the hormone secreted by thyroid. It is thyroxine. And what is its function? Metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Okay. Now coming to the defect. If there is a problem functioning in the problem of this thyroid gland, there is a swelling seen here. That swelling is called goiter. Okay. Now goiter can either be because of the problem of the thyroid gland. It may not be always due to deficiency. For example, see, you have learned in lower classes, goiter is due to the deficiency of iodine. Iodine deficiency can cause goiter, and it can be cured by taking iodized salts or food rich in iodine. So goiter is not always curable. Sometimes it may be a defect of the thyroid gland which cannot be cured by just taking iodine. So such people need to take artificial hormones of thyroxine. That is, thyroid gland, if it may secrete excessive thyroxine or deficient thyroxine, it affects the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. So that cannot be repaired. You know, the endocrine glands, if once damaged, you cannot repair it. If there's a deficiency of growth hormone, you cannot repair the pituitary gland. You can just take it in artificial amounts, but all hormones are not made artificially. Like insulin is made artificially to cure diabetes, but it cannot repair the pancreas. Okay, so thyroid problem, it's the thyroid deficiency of thyroid can lead to goiter. Okay. Next is the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is secreted above the kidneys. You can both above the kidneys it is secreted. And what is the hormone it secretes? Adrenaline. You might have heard a rush of adrenaline. When you go for some fun rides, you feel a sense of stress, isn't it? So that is a rush of adrenaline. You start sweating. Suppose you have your teacher is bringing a bundle of answer sheets into your class. How do you feel? You feel nervous. So that nervousness, shivering, sweating is because of this hormone adrenaline. Clear? So it is also called as the hormone of fight, flight or fright. So adrenal gland secretes adrenaline. It helps us to overcome stressful situation. Which are the stressful situations? It can be fright, afraid of something. Flight, you are running away from that scared situation. Flight, you are running away. Okay, so fright, flight and fight. When you fight, sometimes people fight with each other and they beat each other not knowing that they are harming others. That's why sometimes people murder each other because of that rush of adrenaline. So it's called a stress hormone. It is giving you excessive energy to your skeletal muscles. Clear? So we will see how actually it is helping our body to cope with the stressful situations. Okay. You see a dog coming towards you. You run to avoid its bite. Children, every hormone has a target region. Okay, we talked about pituitary gland growth hormone. Its target region was bones and muscles because of which the growth occurs. We also learned thyroxine. It's helping in metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins which occurs in every cell of the body. So its target region is all the cells. Now adrenal gland, the target region is your heart. Your heart will start pumping blood faster to your skeletal muscles. Just see what happens when you see a dog running towards you. Okay, it's a dangerous situation. Okay, you see a dog coming towards you, you run to avoid its bite. It's a stimulus that you have seen a dog coming towards you, and the response is you run so fast that you never run so fast in your life. So brain gives the signals about the emergency situation. Eye sensory nerves have given towards the brain. Now the brain is giving the message to the adrenal gland. So the adrenal gland will then secrete adrenaline. See children, the glands are not always secreting hormones. It will secrete as per the requirement. So here the requirement came, and so the adrenal gland secretes adrenaline. Adrenaline's target region is the heart. The heart will start beating faster and it will pump more blood to the skeletal muscles because you need to run faster. Clear? Then along with that, the other body parts are also helping. What happens? The blood flow from the digestive system and the skin. From here also the blood is diverted to the skeletal muscles. Two things are happening. Blood flow from the heart pumped into the skeletal muscles, and diversion of blood flow from the digestive system and skin to the skeletal muscles. Okay? And then skeletal muscles get more energy for cellular respiration. Lot of energy is produced in the muscle cells. And because of more energy produced in the muscles, you run faster than ever before. Afterwards you realize, I have never run so fast in my life. And so you are dealing with the situation. So this is how adrenaline hormone helps you to deal with emergency situation while fighting or flight means to run away from dangerous situations. You start sweating and all, that's all because of adrenaline hormone. Clear? Next is the pancreas. You have learned the word pancreas in lesson nutrition, and you have learned the function as it is making a digestive juice which is helping in the complete digestion of all the three nutrients. But it has one more function to do. It is also considered as an endocrine gland. It is making a hormone also. So it's such an important organ of our body. So it has an endocrine function to do. That is, it secretes insulin and glucagon. Two hormones we have to learn. Previously in pituitary growth hormone was there. In thyroid you had thyroxine. In adrenal gland you had adrenaline. But in pancreas, two hormones you have to learn. Insulin and glucagon. Just observe here what happens here. Okay, this is a pancreas situated just near the duodenum, small intestine. And can you see this duct here? This is a duct which is carrying the digestive juices to the small intestine. That's an exocrine function. But you see in this pancreas also, there are special cells. You can see these are the special cells, and these special cells are called as islets of Langerhans. And these special cells produce insulin. That is, in the pancreas you have separate areas to produce digestive enzymes as well as to produce these two hormones. Which two hormones? Insulin and glucagon. What is the function of insulin? How is glucose reaching the cells? You know, it is because after the blood will the blood transports glucose to all cells of the body. But children, the glucose will enter into the body, into the cell of our body only if insulin is present. So suppose you had the food, it got digested. Now the glucose should be allowed to enter the cell. The cell is semi-permeable, it will not allow all substances. Now once the insulin is secreted, the pancreas gets a message that glucose levels are high in the blood. Then insulin will be secreted by the pancreas. As I said in the case of adrenal gland, pancreas also, it will not go on continuously secreting. As per the requirement, it will secrete. After you eat your food, your sugar level rises in your blood. Then the pancreas gets a message that the blood sugar level is high. And so insulin is secreted. Insulin will go to the cells and attach to the cells, and it will allow the glucose to enter into the cells. For what? For cellular respiration. And if the glucose levels go higher, then in liver, glucose is converted into glycogen. Okay, so you just need to remember, glucose conversion to glycogen is because of insulin. So that is stored in the liver. Excess glucose is stored in the liver in the form of glycogen. And whenever there is a requirement for energy, the glycogen will be reconverted back into glucose. If you are fasting for a day or two, then you have stored glycogen, which will be converted back into glucose. That is done by glucagon. In the case of plants, you remember de-starching. When you kept the plants in the dark room, the excess starch was used for its growth and development. So here also, this is the stored form of food is glycogen in our body. It is reconverted into glucose by glucagon. So you just have to learn the two functions of insulin and glucagon. Insulin helps in conversion of glucose to glycogen, and glycogen is converted back into glucose due to glucagon. So these are the two hormones produced by pancreas. You can see this a little bit clearer image. You can see the hormones insulin and glucagon, which are produced by a special cells called as islets of Langerhans. This islets of Langerhans itself is made up of alpha, beta, gamma cells. You will learn in higher classes. Okay, and it is secreted into the blood, you can see. Okay, whereas this one you can see, this is the digestive enzymes, which is through the duct it is going into the small intestine. That is, pancreas has both endocrine and exocrine function. Endocrine function is to secrete hormones, and exocrine function is to secrete digestive juices into the small intestine. Okay. Okay. Now, what happens if the pancreas stops producing insulin? Then the glucose level will definitely rise in the blood, and that condition is called as diabetes. So lack of insulin leads to increased glucose level in the blood, and it is called as diabetes mellitus. Okay. Now ideal blood sugar level in a person is 80 to 100. That is, 80 to 100 is the normal blood sugar level. If it is going lesser than 80 or if it goes beyond 100, it is indicating that you are diabetic or your pancreas is not secreting sufficient insulin. You may get questions based on the data. They may give you some blood sugar report, and they'll tell you to analyze the situation and write the reason. So these are the things you just have to write. Whether if it is around, they have given you about 130. So that is, the sugar level is very high. So how do you analyze the situation? That patient has lack of insulin, pancreas is not secreting insulin, and it has led to diabetes. Clear? And we don't know how to repair the pancreas. So the person has to take insulin in the form of tablets or in the form of injections. Clear? Next, coming to the ovaries. Ovaries is the endocrine gland present in the females. You know where are the ovaries present? You have learned in lower classes. It is present here in the abdominal part, and fallopian tube is connected to it. Okay, this is the part of the female reproductive system. It produces two hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Okay, and as I told you before, all other endocrine glands will start functioning as soon as the child is born, but ovaries will start producing hormones only at the age of puberty, and when it gets message from the pituitary gland. I have told you here that the pituitary gland controls all other glands. So the ovaries will start secreting its hormone when it gets a message in the form of FSH and LH from the pituitary. That happens at the age of puberty. That's why all children do not mature at the same time. The maturity time differs in different girls. Clear? So estrogen hormone helps in development of secondary sexual characteristics. So the physical changes which a girl faces, it's because of the estrogen hormone. Estrogen hormone also helps in the development of ova. Inside the ovary, there are very lot of immature ova. So one by one they will start maturing because of the estrogen hormone. So estrogen has two functions. Remember, development of secondary sexual characteristics like appearance of hair, development of breasts, etc. And then here development of ova in the ovary. It's only development. Clear? Then progesterone hormone is maintaining the pregnancy. When the girl or the woman they become pregnant, that is because it will be maintained because of the progesterone hormone. Okay. Now the last one is the testis. Testis produces only one hormone, that is testosterone, because men cannot become pregnant. Testosterone has two functions: development of secondary sexual characteristics. Even the boys mature enough, they start appearance of beard, mustache, their sound. There's a change in the sound. Then Adam's apple, broad shoulders, so many changes you can see. That is all because of the testosterone hormone, which is secreted by testis. Testis is a part of male reproductive system, which is testis is present in a bag-like structure called as a scrotum outside the body. Okay, so the testis produces testosterone. Two functions: development of secondary sexual characteristics and development of sperms. Okay, so these two are the characteristics of testosterone. Okay. What about the heterocrine gland? When we talked about pancreas, it has both endocrine and exocrine function. So heterocrine glands are the glands which can perform which has both endocrine and exocrine function. Pancreas, the endocrine function is it produces hormone insulin and glucagon, and what is its exocrine function? It produces digestive juices. Similarly, ovaries, you see, we know which hormone it produces: estrogen and progesterone. Since it is producing hormone, it is called a endocrine function. Then what is its exocrine function? It releases ova into the oviduct. We have seen here in this picture, here maturity is of the egg occurs because of estrogen. But once the egg is mature, it will release it into this fallopian tube. That release into the duct is a exocrine function. Okay. So release of ova is an exocrine function. Similarly, testis, the production of hormone testosterone is a endocrine function, but the release of sperms into the vas deferens. Here, it is a testis which is producing sperms, but then it will release into this duct, vas deferens. That is a exocrine function. So these are the three heterocrine glands of our body: pancreas, ovaries and testis. Okay, just a quick recap. The main, the location of our endocrine glands. The first one is the pituitary gland, you see in the brain below the hypothalamus. Then you have the next one is a thyroid gland near the neck region. Then you have the pancreas, adrenal gland above the kidneys, ovaries and testis. Okay, and a quick recall into the hormone and its functions. Pituitary gland, it produces growth hormone and many other hormones. Children, this is the table you have to learn. Exam point of view: growth hormone and many other hormones. And what does it help in? Development of muscles and bones. And what is the target region of growth hormone? Muscles and bones. Because the muscles and bones grow, the person also grows. Thyroid hormone. Thyroid produces thyroxine hormone, and it is helping in the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Adrenal gland hormone is adrenaline. It helps to deal with the stressful situations. It's called a hormone of fright, flight or fight. It's also called as an emergency hormone. Then pancreas. Hormones insulin and glucagon. It maintains the glucose level in blood. Insulin converts glucose to glycogen. Glucagon converts glycogen to glucose. Ovary has two hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen helps in development of secondary sexual characteristics and development of ova. Progesterone helps in maintaining the pregnancy. Testosterone hormone, two functions: development of secondary sexual characteristics and maturation of sperms. Okay. Now we are coming to the feedback mechanism. As I told you, children, the endocrine glands, they do not always produce hormones. It is as per the requirement. Now when we talk about the pancreas, it doesn't secrete insulin always. But when it gets a message that the glucose level is high, it will start secreting. But then it should also stop. So there's a feedback mechanism that the pancreas will get a message that stop production of insulin. The glucose levels have become normal. Okay, so two examples we are going to see for that. What is feedback mechanism? Okay, see, look here. Feedback mechanism in sugar. Sugar level in the blood rises. How? You have eaten your lunch. After 1 or 2 hours, the sugar level will rise. That sugar, as it is detected by the pancreas will produce insulin to convert the glucose, or it will help the glucose to enter into the cell, and the excess glucose will be converted into glycogen. But the sugar level, we should have a normal sugar level. When it reaches a normal sugar, then the blood sugar level starts falling. Then there's a feedback mechanism to tell, it will indicate, it will go and give the message to pancreas to stop the production of insulin, and so the insulin production will stop. So that is called as stops insulin secretion. That is called as a feedback mechanism. So sugar level rises, detected by the pancreas, synthesis of insulin. Then suddenly blood sugar level falls, negative feedback, insulin production stops, and so the blood sugar level is maintained. Okay, here in case of thyroid also, children, see, the hypothalamus gives a message to the pituitary. The pituitary will give the message to thyroid. Thyroid will produce thyroxine. But after a certain time, it will get a feedback to stop the negative feedback. Goes to the pituitary to stop TSH. So when TSH stops, thyroid will stop producing thyroxine. So this is called as feedback mechanism, or feedback loop, which is very important. And if this doesn't function, it can create an imbalance in the entire hormonal systems of our body. Okay. This is just a picture to show. See, the person is eating food. Pancreas is secreting the glucose. Pancreas secretes insulin hormone. The hormone insulin is converting glucose into glycogen in the liver. And as soon as the blood glucose level comes to the proper level in the blood, there's a negative feedback to the pancreas to stop production, and then the blood glucose level will be coming to its proper level. That's called hemostatic level. That is only because of the feedback mechanism. Final slide here, children. We were learning about the lesson control and coordination. We learned about the nervous system, where the stimulus is taken by the receptors in the sense organs, taken to the sensory nerve, then spinal cord and brain, which they will take the decision, and then it is sent to the motor nerves, and motor nerves connect to the effector organs, and the effector organs are causing the response. This was a flow chart we had learned in the nervous control. What about the hormonal control? Stimulus detected by the endocrine glands. They secrete hormones as per the requirement, and through the blood it will go to the target site, due to which response is seen. So this is a flow chart showing the hormonal mechanism, and this is a nervous. Okay, so control and coordination in our body is because of these two systems. Now what does this arrow indicate? It shows both of them are not working in isolation. They are also interconnected. Can you tell me why? It's because the pituitary gland is a part of hormonal system, and it is connected to the hypothalamus of the nerve system. So hypothalamus gives order to the pituitary, and the pituitary will give order to all other glands of the body. So this is a very good control and coordination. We have a very efficient control and coordination system in our body, and because of which all the activities are going on properly. And if you want all our systems to work properly, we also need to follow a healthy lifestyle, exercise, eat healthy diet, so that all your hormones are under control, your nervous system works properly, and you gain success in your life, children. Okay? Thank you.